everyone. Hello all gentle folk, gentle beasts and all creatures in between. This is Traversing the Dark and Carla the Cam with our epic pauldrons and bashy mace. And I'm here to welcome you back. I'm very glad that you've chosen to join me as I continue my Morrowind Let's Play. Yes I am, Movis Darius. Yes I am. From where we last left off, we were doing some of Edwina Eilbert's quests to investigate some Dwemer ruins, find some different Dwemer material and artifacts. But I thought we'd take a break from them, and instead of getting her blueprint right now, I'm sure she'll wait for that, we will head over and actually begin the main quest of the game, because we're level 4, we have got some pretty excellent loot, some things I'll have to sell, enchanted arrows from those skeletons from our tomb raiding adventures. We've also got a Ring of Surroundings, Amulet of Shadows, somewhere here, there it is there, I should pop that on. As well as our rings to really buff us up, so we are really more than equipped to begin the main quest. Andrano.
This is unexpected, but not unwelcome. Please go ahead.
Plan to. Andrano seems to be slightly levitating. Okay. Let's travel to Balmora. I quickly went off to Sadrith Mora just to get some standard Restore Magicka potions. We have a very healthy pool of Magicka, pretty decent fatigue, and a couple of different mapped spells. What I'm going to eventually have to do is buy some better summoned minions, because Ghost and Skeleton are fine to start off with, but they're not exactly the most robust summons. As you saw in the Bloodbath episode, the Golden Saint is the absolute king, or queen I guess, of summoned creatures in Morrowind. Without mods that is, and we might be seeing a few mods that change up summoning ever so slightly. But the first thing to do is head to Caius, back in our town of Balmora. And most of Caius's first quests are going to be kind of situated around Balmora. So it's pretty convenient, you know, to deal with guild business in Balmora and then go and do the first or so of Caius's quests. I just wanted to continue the Mages Guild just to really get ourselves properly kitted out as a battle mage. Although I have to say I've been feeling more like a pure mage recently. Carla's got her little glovey gloves, her little feely fingers there, look at them. Twitching to cast Fireball. Or Exploding Palm with a decent cast chance. Right, Caius Casares. Are we Caius enough for the Caius Club?
You want something, friend?
Want a lot of things. This is what pure perfection looks like, folks. This is the real male specimen. Check him. Boom. Are you here to discuss your orders, Carla the Cam, or is there something else you want? Ready for orders? Good. Go talk to Hasfat and Tabalus at the Balmora Fighters Guild. Ask him what he knows about the Nerevarine secret cult and the Sixth House secret cult. You'll have to do him a favour first, probably an ugly favour, but do it, then get the information from Antabalus and report back to me. By the way, Hasfat is a student of Morrowind history. Take the chance to get a little education, and I have a few history books in here. Help yourself, you're welcome to them. No point in being a part of history if you're too ignorant to understand it. He's given us a short history of Morrowind, and we can also take from him one of his own books, The War of the First Council. These books are important lore-wise to kind of understand what's going on in the story, but the Nerevarine. Some Dumner believe that an orphan and an outcast, a youth born on a certain day to uncertain parents, will one day unite all the tribes of the Dunmer, drive out the invaders of Morrowind, and re-establish the ancient laws and customs of the Dark Elven nations. They call this orphan and outcast the Nerevarine, and say the Nerevarine will be a reincarnation of the long-dead Dunmer general of the First Councillor, Lord Indoro Nerevar. So we've got to find out about these two different cults, Nerevarine and the Sixth House. A trusted informant says that a secret cult associated with some strange events recently, and, more important, my informant thinks these recent disturbances are related in the same way to the Nerevarine prophecies. The Ashlanders believe in this prophecy more than anything. We've also met one person in the Surin town square who believed in the Nerevarine prophecy. The temple, we've heard, outlaws this massively. In our journal we can actually search for topics and actually find out what we know about the Nerevarine right? The temple says this is a false and profane superstition, and the Ordinators, their police force, deal mercilessly with those who profess such beliefs. So we're thinking, why does the reincarnation of a dark elven hero matter so much to the temple, the dominant religious faith of Morrowind? You know, why have they got a problem with it? If he's such a hero of the people, who's meant to re-establish the old order, then surely they'd love that. You know, surely they would love to drive the Imperials and all Outlanders out as the native religion. But there's some problems that they have with it, which we shall see. So Hasfat is in the Balmora Fighters Guild. What I'm going to do is set my mark here. My chance to cast it is so low. But I did it first time. Fair enough.
Can you ask your question quickly?
It's not you I need, it is your associate down here. Hiya. Just another example of Morrowind's visual storytelling, how you know this room is a training room without even asking anyone. You don't have someone say, come on, let's practice our swordsmanship, let's go bush, bush, bush. No, you know, the mats are laid out, the floor is decorated with this kind of training mat itself. You've got the spears in the back, the blunt weapons over here. These two are kitted out for war. You know that this is a training room. I just think little touches like that are what some games miss nowadays. They spell things out too much. I sound like an old boomer, so before you call me boomer brain, let's go. Hasfat and Tablis, good day, Carl the Cam. So you're with Caius, eh? And Caius wants information. Of course, this is a this for that involved. I require a favour first, and then I'll tell you what you want to know. Favour, there are Dwemer rooms nearby called Arkanthand. I need you to run over there and find me a little cube with a circular design and some symbols on one side. It's called a Dwemer puzzle box. Bring me back the Dwemer puzzle box and I'll tell you what you want to know. So we've been training for this. Idwina's quests having us investigate Dwemer runes. We have been training for this. We are Caius enough for the Caius Club. The little cube I'm looking for is about the size of a fist, maybe a little bigger. It'll be made of a coppery metal with a circular design and symbols on one side and some line marks on the other sides. That's all I want. One little cube. So Hasfat, we're told, is a kind of student on the Dwemer and Morrowind history. And he gives us a little compendium of it. We can talk to him about current events. The Great Houses hate each other. The Temple's trying to kill off a rebellious faction called the Dissident Priests. We don't know about them. Ashlanders raid each other, attack traders and pilgrims. A secret cult is killing off Imperial citizens. All bad enough, the real problem is the blight. Monsters and diseases. The natives say it comes from Red Mountain. It's been a local problem for years, but lately it's gotten badly out of control. We've spoken to one person about Corpus, the disease that cannot be cured. Corpus comes from the blight. And right now nobody really knows the connection between these cults and the blight and this disease. That's our job to figure this out. Hasfat, we can also talk to him about Hanging Gardens, which was the translation key that we found in the last Dwemer rune that Edwina had us go to. He says if you find any other Dwemer books, perhaps I could try and translate them with this key. So it's a good way that these quests all kind of interrelate. Edwina's quests do have you investigate Dwemer runes, you find some interesting artifacts and items that you can actually use with people associated with the main quest. They do link quite well, Mage's Guild and main quest. Just going to wait for a little bit of better visibility before we actually make the journey to the rune. Oh, talking about visibility, looks like we got rain. Whatever. It reminds me of sunny Scotland, so it does. The rune that we are looking for is actually one that we've seen before.
This scent is new.
No, it's not, Hull, you know me. It is that rune that's just coming into view now up here. That one. The one next to Moonmoth Legion Fort, which actually I can just Divine Intervention to. Hey guys. No need to be so hostile. I know I killed those guys, but it's all better now. So yeah, we ignored this rune on the way to one of Rannis Aphidus' quests because it was going to be main quest related, but we weren't quite ready for it yet. most of the early main quest missions are basically going to put you into combat with some basic enemies and see how you fare in confined spaces with them. As a mage, this can be a little bit of a worry, but I think with our spells and summons, we should be pretty much good to go at this point. Got enough magicka? I do. I think I'll quickly map those magicka potions, because I'll probably be going through them. Not fortify willpower. Magicka. My plan is pretty much to sell things off camera for money. Not actually collect new things, but just to eliminate anything getting too stale as we go on with the Let's Play. Oh, boom. See, it's always worth coming back to kegs and different containers, especially in Dwemer Ruins in the game, because the randomly generated loot is normally gems, which can usually fetch you a nice little pretty penny. Oh, I'll use Frostbite on this. Nice cost-effective on-touch spell, and I'll just try and bash him. And he's done. Boom. Can I make it to the door? Can I make it? Can I make it? There it is. There are enemies nearby. Always a good way to check if there's enemies is just simply to try and rest when you go into a new location. Seems to be a large Dwemer Ruin. Bigger than the ones that we've seen before. But certainly with its close proximity to Balmora, you would expect there to already be people here. And as we look down, I can see some legs. I'm going to summon a skeleton. And preemptive strike. I'm going to assume that he's evil. Oh, there's two of them. Good. Good effect on one target. Come on, skeleton. He's got a lovely big hammer there. Good.
I'll be back, and you'll be dead.
I'll be back. Nice. Skeleton, you missed one. Oh. Come on, skeleton, help us out here. And he's done. I will take his shirt. Pecs. Thank you, skeleton. Normally, the AI in Morrowind will try and rush you as the summoner before they deal with your summons. I would say that summons are probably best used for like when you're dealing with archers, because basically you can have someone, a meat shield, to run up to an archer and distract them, because they will go for your summons generally. But you saw there, he basically gave up after a while and then was just bashed into oblivion by the skeleton. So it all worked out in the end. Summon my mace. Just because I want to feel like more of a battle mage. That's the whole idea of the character. We'll say pure mage in Morrowind, it can be fun if you know what you're doing, but at the same point, at a certain level, just enemies are going to have so much magic resistance that things are just going to get too challenging for you. And I mean, Bound Mace, that you see how well that's working. The damage in that is better than any weapon we've came across so far. Dwemer puzzle box. Cells of hollow hand. Checking the crates, and especially these kegs. Diamond, scrap, and frost salts. All high value. Oh, hello, friend.
Your skills fail you.
He's actually not wrong. I'm not hitting him very well with this blunt weapon. Come on. Come on. Come on. Done. Honestly, the great thing about bound weapons, they're light as a feather, and also they fortify your the skill that's associated with them. So you'll see there, if I summon this mace again, my blunt weapon skill is in white because it's been fortified by 10 points. This is why they slightly nerfed bound weapons in Skyrim, although if you're a stealth archer, you know how powerful bound bow is. Just a little casual Dwemer locomotive, because the Dwemer are weird. I don't think there's anything else to this place, actually. Yeah. Yep, nothing. No puzzle box in here. Just a random old bandit. I'll take this time just to rest. And that's another thing about early game Morrowind, like, rest when you can. Rest whenever you can. It's just free heals. Pure free heals. I don't tend to waste a major or minor skill with restoration just because you can buy healing potions and items. You just get a little skeleton in here. Yeah. Saw someone. There she is. Come on, skeleton. Oh, ow. See, she really wants to go for me. So I'll just step over here. And done. Well done, skeleton. I am watching my magicka, and I'm aware that I'm running out, so we'll pop a few potions. Oh, hello there, friend. Help me. Nice. This is a skilled skeleton. I'm just gonna say it. You poke him from behind, I'll get him from there. We go. Don't take that out of context. Okay. No cube still. Oh. Oh no, that was a trap. Auto. Ring of healing. Don't die, please. Okay, that was bad. That was almost bad. Jeez, that took off most of my health. That's why I gotta be careful with traps. I just gotta be careful with them. I got to be careful with traps. Get any restore fatigue? I do not. That was naughty though, trapping one door and not the other. I'm not gonna fall for it this time. Actually, there is someone told me a useful trick that I'm gonna showcase next, probably next episode, with trapdoors, because it is something that totally just defeats them, and it's such an easy spell to learn. And it was something that I was not aware of, so that's what I love about doing this Let's Play too, is that all you folks are even telling me some secrets that I'm learning. That is a powerful door. That is a powerful trapdoor. What have we got? Hello there. Ow. Oh, it's not looking good. And I'm fine. Rest. Rest. She hit the ground and I fell asleep. For our next outing, I will bring more health potions. See, even then, that door was trapped and that one wasn't. Ugh, Carla. I blame her when it was me that made the decision. Ah, okay, here we are. So that's pretty much the layers of the dungeon we need to explore done, but we also get this little place up here. Also get this little place up here. Floating coin. That might be an OpenMW issue. I'm not sure. Dwarven spear. See, thrust 5 to 21. A pretty decent weapon, to be honest, if you're focusing on spear in the game, which is not a bad decision because spear trains up your endurance, as well as its own skill. Hey there, friend. Take that. Boss critical. The brains behind the operation, I'm assuming. I don't know if anyone remembers, but does Boss Critical usually put up like a lightning shield or whatever he just put up there? I mean, regardless, it doesn't matter. He was going to get exploding palmed anyway. But that might be something that Open Morrowind has added in that I was not aware of. And over here, there it is. We've got our Dwemer puzzle box. Now, there's more that you can actually see in this ruin, but we can return here later when we've got a little bit more experience under our belts. I don't really want to be dealing with dwarven constructs right now, although we have managed to deal with them before. All I want to do is recall back to the Fighters Guild. Oh, that is unless my mysticism skill doesn't fail me. And report back to Hasfat and Tabulus.
Oh, Outlander, did you want something?
Mysticism is a skill. I mean, I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking, I always think this. There's some pretty good abilities with mysticism, like absorb health, and there's a very, very cost-effective on-touch spell that is absorb health. I'd say it's probably one of the best cost-effective spells in the game, especially at a low level. I'm gonna buy it, but it's really the only thing that really I think mysticism is that useful for. The favour is done. Let me take the Dwemer puzzle box and then I'll tell you what Caius will want to know about the 6th house and about the Nerevarine. By the way, the inscriptions in the box seem to be the directions for setting a Dwemer key to open a specific lock. If you're interested, after you've delivered your report to Caius, come back and maybe I'll have a key you can take back to Arkenthand. House Dagoth is the 6th house, the lost 6th house. In the first age, House Dagoth betrayed the other great houses during the War of the First Council and was destroyed for their treason. I can answer any questions you have, but I'll also give you some notes to give to Caius and recommend some 6th house references he should read. So yeah, House Dagoth. 7 Dunmer great houses in the first era of Tamriel. Now we can join 3 of them. Currently there's 5. There is Telvanni, Redoran, Halalu, which have representation in Vardenfell. And on the mainland there's also Indoral and Drez. Drez kind of being the most politically powerful. It's one of their member is the kind of Duke of Morrowind, of Vardenfell even. There was, however, 7 great houses, and one of them was House Dwemer, as we can find out if we look at the War of the First Council. House Dwemer, which was the house of the dwarves. Now, if we remember, they have disappeared. Nobody knows where they are, so their house is extinct. The other great house was House Dagoth, and they fell into... They were basically wiped out because they betrayed the other great houses in the war between them and House Dwemer, which took place at Red Mountain. Now, we can put some of the puzzles together right away. There's this House Dagoth, house that was the traitorous house of them all. They fell at a battle at Red Mountain, and from Red Mountain is coincidentally where this Blight and Corpus is coming from. So you can kind of put some of these things together, piece them together a little bit. Now, the Nerevarine he knows a little bit less about. The Ashlanders believe a reborn Nerevar will unite the Dunmer against the Outlander invaders and restore the ancient Dark Elven nation. Nerevar is a legendary hero and saint of the temple, but the temple denies the prophecy and persecutes heretics who believe in the Nerevarine. Tell Caius that Sharn Gramuzgub would be a better person to ask about the native faiths and superstitions. Which is correct. She is a Mages Guild member who we've come across before. She's one of our brethren. Now, we knew a little bit about Nerevar, but not why the temple would hate him so much, or hate his reincarnation so much. Nerevar, the Nerevarine is basically Jesus, the second coming of Jesus, if Jesus was a powerful, badass war leader with a flaming longsword and an epic mohawk, in how he's depicted in the temple canon and in the lore of the game. So the idea is he comes back, a reincarnated hero from the war, the battle that took place at Red Mountain, and he's going to lead the Dark Elves to a truly independent nation. And why would the temple hate that? That's the thing that we need to figure out. But first, let's report back to Caius by bunny hopping all over Balmora. Hey, Caius.
Speak freely, friend.
Speak freely, friend. These are the notes from Hasfat and Tablis. Excellent. I trust they didn't work you too hard for them. I'll look them over in more detail later, but now I have some new orders for you. I've glanced at Antablis' notes. They cover the 6th house admirably, but not the Nerevarine cult. Hop on over to the Balmora Mages Guild. It's right next to the Balmora Fighters Guild. Get Sharngra Musgub to tell you what she knows about the Nerevarine. She'll have some silly errand for you. Do what she asks and report back when she's given you the information. Done, Caius. Whatever you say. Don't have to tell me twice. We'll do our quick little teleportation to the Mages Guild.
Welcome, friend.
I might even get lazier and set my mark in here.
Please talk.
Do bunny hop everywhere. It makes things faster, even though I'm losing fatigue. Hello. No interruptions. How many times? Oh, you're one of Caius's associates. That's a different matter. Caius and I have a very satisfactory arrangement, and I'm sure we can come to some sort of agreement if you'll complete a little errand for me. It's all very cloak and dagger. The blades seem to have their hands in some different associations in Morrowind. Now you have to admit, it's not a racist claim, but you don't normally see many orc mages. So it is a strange one. But anyway, what's your errand? It's very simple. I need the skull of level Andrano. You'll find it in Andrano Ancestral Tomb, but take care not to upset the natives. The Dirnae have some peculiar primitive prejudices against necromancy. Just that innocent little practice of necromancy. Imagine being prejudiced against raising the dead. Just unfounded prejudice. They take grave objection, pun intended, to unauthorized tomb visits. Tell me about necromancy. In the Empire, necromancy is a legitimate discipline, though body and spirit are protected property and may not be used without permission of the owner. How kind. But in Morrowind, the Dirnae loathed necromancers and put them to death. That's absurd, of course, since the Dirnae summon their own dead to guard tombs and defend the family. Sacred necromancy is righteous, while philosophical necromancy is evil. It's primitive superstition, that's all. So, if you look into things, you can see there's a little bit too much protesting with this. Of course not. I can't teach you spells. I'm not a necromancer. No, absolutely not. Not a necromancer. Methinks a certain orc is protesting too much. I mean, you've literally told me to go and get a skull. And you're telling me you're not a necromancer. I mean, everything about you is pointing to necromancer. Even your narrowed eyes, your evil narrowed eyes. Anyway. This tomb is south of Pelagiad, just off the road before you reach the fork where the road goes southwest towards Sedanine and southeast to Vivek. You may need an enchanted blade, got that. Some spirits are immune to normal weapons. This is kind of like a tutorial on ghosts. I mean, by this time you've got here in the game, you would hope that you understand ghosts, but she's given us some scrolls that I'll sell, put to good use.
You're not what I expected. You've earned my trust.
Right, I've got the trust of a necromancer. I mean, a mage. Fellow mage. Good person. Good orc. Oh. Oh no, failure. I'm embarrassing myself in front of the necromancer. I mean, I'm out of here. Bunny hop away, wee. Right, quickly gonna sell some of these epic arrows to our good friend Galbador. Take these, take the spear, I don't use it, take these, take the fire blade, no need for that, take these longbows, anything else? I don't need, actually I might, that's a pretty good fire damage spell. If I'm out of Magister, I'll use it. I don't think I'll need to absorb anyone. Restore health, that may be good. Okay, cool. Come on, don't refuse my offer. I know I'm taking most of your gold, but hey, listen. I need it more than you.
And salutations.
Okay. Now, this tomb, she's quite right, is nearby. It's actually kind of more near Sedanine, but I am going to Divine Intervention. Restore my magicka over here, totally for, well, almost for free. 10 gold. Hi, yeah. Boom. Now, something I've actually noticed, again, this is just pure game mechanics talk, but, I mean, I get interested in it. Something I've noticed is that you actually have a higher chance of 100% absorbing Imperial Cult Altar Shrine Blessings than you do Tribunal Shrine Blessings. Which is odd. I don't know what the coding could be on that in the game or why that's an issue. I like to RP it and say that because Carla's a member of the Imperial Cult, she's more receptive to absorbing their blessings, even though she's technically been a leech and taken the divine blessings into herself as magic. Oh, Mentor's ring's off. But yeah, it's a strange one. Because I go to the temple shrines and for one thing they cost me more to use because I'm not a member of the temple. And secondly, it seems like I have to give it a good few tries before I actually absorb the blessings from the altars. So it's not really cost effective. And it seems that using the cult shrines is probably better. I do love this, getting over this ridge and just seeing the total change in the landscape. And it never seems too jarring. You can see Vivek in the background there. You can even make out the, I think that might be Ebenheart actually. The fortress of Ebenheart in the distance, kind of slowly blending into the fog, coming into view. I do love that sense of scale in Morrowind. I've spoken about that before, but the sense of immersion in the world that you get, I say that as I slaughter one of this world's residents, but yeah, the sense of immersion that you get in the world is still, I feel, unparalleled. And a lot of it is just pure visual storytelling and like basic sound design, environmental design. I do think that when it comes to things like dialogue, voice acting in games, like kind of less is more. I don't know if anyone played Forspoken recently, or I mean tried to play Forspoken recently. Just, I don't know what it is with dialogue, with RPGs and just throwing screeds of pretty dire dialogue at you. And from a character that you are supposed to be role-playing. I've never had an RPG that made me not want to roleplay a character before. I mean, I know it's an action RPG, and the spell system seemed interesting, but I mean, I feel like in some ways we've kind of gotten away from kind of true or authentic RP, which is really just give a player a world and say, listen, go off and explore. Help these crazy noblewomen find love, or don't. You still haven't found them? Well, all the best. But yeah, there's a lot that we can learn from old games. It's not just pure boomer brain logic to say so. That said, learn from them and develop like new content, of course. You know, you don't want to be too stuck in these things, although, you know, let's be honest, the modding community for Morrowind is amazing. Tamriel Rebuilt's an incredible mod. The fact you can tailor the game just to your own experience. Like, my playthrough is pretty vanilla. I look at those trees and I'm reminded of that massively. Those 2D leaves. But, the mods that improve flora and fauna in the game, I think tend to make your machine chug just unnecessarily. Like, especially something that adds grass. There's some great mods. Vert is a great mod maker. Vert's ground cover's really cool. Vert's trees for different regions of Morrowind are fantastic. They look great, they're lore friendly. Some of them, the bushier options, are just too much. Like just filling the sky with trees, which gets a little bit claustrophobic. But I've kept these vanilla just because I want to keep the experience as true to form as possible. And for anyone that might be new to the game watching, I know there's a lot of us that have played it before, and it's great seeing your comments and chatting to you guys about how you found Morrowind, especially in one of the last videos that I did, and just seeing how we all kind of randomly chanced by it. I think that's really cool, and I think it's an experience we don't really get too much unless it's kind of with random indie titles maybe on sale on Steam. Right, I'll cut my meandering chat and... oh, it's a creepy atmosphere now, jeez. Okay, time to enter the tomb. So, we know that our quote-unquote not necromancer friend has told us there's ghosts in here. But we're a mage. We have every advantage against ghosts. We got spells. Hey, ghost. And he's done. Take his ectoplasm. Dead body. Some gold. What do we got? I think I know what we got. Let's get bashing. Hiya. Yup. There we go. Oh, shoot. He might be trouble if he hits me. Ow. Okay, he's not getting enchanted arrows or anything. There we go. Yeah. I love that Skeletor, like, bah, they do. I've contracted brown rot. That's not great. Sometimes, as you explore and you check the bodies of fallen undead creatures or diseased creatures, you're going to get a disease. And I just happen to have contracted one. Do I have any cure disease potion? It's not the worst. It drains personality and strength. You can cure them at any kind of cult shrine. Or, actually, wait a minute. There's a altar here. Yes. Cure disease. I think I just absorbed that. Okay, cool. Yeah. So that actually might be why they put that altar there. Just in case you contract a disease and you've never experienced that before in Morrowind. Never thought about that before. That might be why it's there. I mean, the worst disease, you know, is our blight disease. The worst disease is corporous, but the bad ones are blight diseases because they seem to get worse over time. I mean, even that basic disease there was draining my strength, which is a bad one. Yeah. Oh. Well, switch to frostbite. Resisted magic, eh? Resist this. Yeah, some creatures it will say they're resistant. Skeletons' bones ain't gonna crumble against cold. They're pretty good with it, but fire, they're not a big fan of. What shall I do? Speaking of fire, let's summon a little ghost to help us down here, because I hear the shambling of more old bones. Hiya. Go, ghost. 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 Go, ghost. There we go. I'll kite him, I'll dart around, ghost, come on. Take him. Oh, do you know what? Here. He's a little bit slow, I'll admit. Oh. Okay, I accidentally killed him. But he did manage to kill the skeleton. I do want to get some better summoned creatures. Those are actually the weakest ones that I've got right now. Okay, a little bit of treasure. A little bit of Bungler's Bane. Bone meal. Much. Now, I don't know if you can make this out. Open Morrowind and the AI enhanced graphics has slightly made it better. This is actually a representation of the Tribunal. You've got Vivek over here. You've got Sofasil over here. And you've got Almalexia in the middle. They're kind of basic representations. They do kind of look like who they're describing. Or who they're showing. But you'll see them in tombs like these. Nobody here? A little bit of gold. There. Oh, Ghoul Heart sells for 150. There's always some decent loot that you can find. All these tombs. Do I want... Yeah, I'm pretty much fine. I think I'll just stick with my fireball. These undead are burning up pretty good. Although I don't like that I've seen a lot of skeleton archers. They're not as bad as the other tombs that I've raided that had ones with enchanted arrows. Though they are good to actually pick up. Homilies of Blessed Almalexia. Some of these little stories that you get are actually quite good. Sofasil and the Scribs. They tell you a little bit about the Tribunal and their kind of tenets of their faith, etc. I mean, there are good things the Tribunal Temple does. They're very charitable to the civilians of Morrowind. Absorb that spell, boom. Come on. Done. That was a kind of mage off there with that Bone Walker. Skull of Lavilla Andrano. Got it. And Dagger of Judgment. One thing I'll say about this, damage attribute is actually really good as a spell, even as a low magnitude. Because it says damage attribute 5 to 8 points, but that's every single time you hit someone. And a dagger's a fast weapon, right? So every time you land a hit on someone, look how fast you can hit. That's damaging their strength. It's making them weaker with every little bite that you make against them. So that's some of this. Good helmet. That's some of the ways in which short blades can sometimes be more effective than even bigger weapons in Morrowind, because end of the day, it's not about the damage that you do, but the amount of times you can get your enchantment off against the enemy. I am quickly going to recall back, give her the skull, and then learn what we can about the Nerevarine cult. Hey Sean! Errand. Very good, I'll just take that skull from you. Perfect for what I have in mind. It's totally not necromantic in nature. Thank you. Now, as promised, I'll answer your questions on the Nerevarine cult. Go ahead. This Ashlander cult believes the long-dead hero Nerevar will be reborn to honour ancient promises to the tribes. According to legend, the prophesied Nerevarine will cast down the false gods of the Tribunal Temple, restore the traditional ancestor worship practiced by the Ashlanders, and drive all Outlanders from Morrowind. Both Temple and Empire outlaw the cult, but it persists among the Ashlanders, who care little for Imperial or Temple law. Here, take this copy of my notes on the topic for Caius. So now we're getting somewhere. Now we know why the Temple despises the Nerevarine cult, because the idea is that not only will he drive the foreigners from Morrowind, but he will destroy the Tribunal faith. Why will he do that? We still have more of the mystery to unravel. More of the mystery to unravel. What we do know, and I mean you can read through these books that you're given from Caius and others, but what you do know is that in the wake of the war and the destruction of the dwarves, Vivek Amlexia and Sopher Sill succeed to basically establish the faith of the Tribunal over Morrowind. Out of the battle, they come out on top and they establish themselves as the God Kings and immortal rulers of Morrowind, known as the Tribunal or Alm Civi. So, there's a conflict of interest here. I'm going to end this episode on that mysterious note. Next episode, we're going to go back to Caius and see what he's going to have us do next. Gathering some new information on both these different cults and the current events going on in Morrowind out with our old guild shenanigans. So, I'll say thank you very much for watching, folks. Enjoy your day, rest of your week, enjoy your night, and as usual, make sure to check under your bed. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!